The winter 2026 anime season has come and gone, and you already know what we are about to do. I am here once again to rank every single anime that I watched over the course of the winter 2026 season. Already has been an amazing season thus far. You may disagree, you may agree, but let's just go ahead and find out and see. Alright y'all, here we go. This is the winter 2026 anime season. Can you guys believe it's already April? I can't believe that, to be honest with you. Let's see if we got some stinkers, but we definitely do have some bangers, I will say that much. But just a couple of quick notes before we actually start ranking a bunch of things. Basically, number one is you guys are free to agree and disagree with my list. If there's an anime here that I have not watched yet and you think it is a potential secret hidden gem, then let me know down in the comments. Or maybe, you know, there's just a ranking in there that you just don't like. Let me know in the comments. I'm down to have a conversation. Number two is the fact that I have not watched everything. That is very, very self-explanatory. And number three is that if you haven't watched my spring 2026 anime video yet, this season has been absolutely spectacular so far, and we've only gone through the first week and a half. Please go watch the spring 2026 anime video that I made. Links always, of course, down in the description down below. Hit that like button and subscribe to your boy. Thanks. So to save ourselves some time here, I already have filled out the planning to watch in the future, and I'm just going to go ahead and list them all off here. Here we go. I heard that Love Through a Prism was really good, so I'm going to have to check that out at some point. 84% on Analyst, so that's pretty good. Trigun Stampede is part of the new Trigun series, and that I'm probably most likely going to check out at some point. The Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife, I heard, was pretty charming. Shibo Yugi is a massive one that actually got some attention, especially in the earlier parts of the season. Amon's B-side, I heard, was very, very good. We're gonna have to check that out as well at some point. The Cosmic Princess Kaguya movie, I heard, was very, very decent as well. Medalist Season 2 is continuing a very rare NG reign, which is pretty cool to see. So I'm glad to see that that anime is holding up with that specific studio. The second season of the My Hero Vigilantes spinoff, I will have to check that out when I finish My Hero. Hanakimi, I heard, was pretty decent. The sequel specials to the There's No Freaking Way I'll Be Your Lover Unless is once also here. I actually was supposed to start this earlier this year, but I think Uma Musume got me. Haya-chan Isn't Scary is also another one here. Hignon Witch is also apparently decent. Dead Account and The Holy Grail of Eris. So those are the planning to watch. All right, here we go, chat. It's time. We are going to start our rankings, and we have to start here with the anime that was continuing from the fall season, and that is To Your Eternity Season 3. So this one is an interesting one because from what I remember, I think I put it at a B at first, and I think I'm going to stick with it. Manga readers were saying how this season in particular wasn't going to be that good because this is kind of where the manga started to fall off, if not has already fallen off. I actually thought the story and the trials that Fushi goes through, especially when it comes down to his character and the people around him, was very, very interesting and entertaining to watch, despite the fact that there are a lot of crazy folks in this anime. I honestly didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was still pretty decent enough to keep myself entertained. Now, obviously, will it ever hit the highs of season one? Most likely not ever again, because season one would definitely be here in an A, but no. Oh yeah, I think B is a good one for To Your Eternity, and let's just keep it that way because for me, To Your Eternity was one of those first anime where I think that first season was just so good. And while I can kind of accept the fact that it will most likely never be that high ever again in terms of quality and just storytelling, I can still at least appreciate the journey that Fushi is going through. I think To Your Eternity is still a pretty decent anime, despite how different it is compared from season 3 to 1. So, all right, the next one up here is Hell's Paradise Season 2. Oh man, let me tell you, they didn't fumble the last couple of episodes, Mappa. Okay. Look, Hell's Paradise, it stepped up this season. I personally believe that this was better than season 1. I like the way it was paced. I liked the way how it focused on multiple characters when possible, especially when it came down to this specific arc that they were in. Very entertaining anime, very interesting arc. It's just Hell's Paradise. It's always going to be so gory, and the characters in this anime, of course, it can just get so crazy to the point where they may introduce a new character and you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, like, what is happening right now? The world of Hell's Paradise, man, that world is insane. And the fact that Gabimaru goes through so much, but then it's not even just him. Like, I like the fact that in this season, the focus was on him, of course, but it also just shared a bunch of screen time with other important characters and got the backstory of other important characters. That, in my opinion, is a huge plus for me. And the animation was great. Mappa did a great job. They didn't fumble the last couple of episodes like how they did in season 1. So I really do have to applaud their quality in this season. Very much top notch. The one criticism I will have, though, is the way it ended. I felt as though that season 2 kind of ended abruptly, but it is what it is. Hell's Paradise, still a solid anime, great animation, and the characters just remain to be the most important aspect about this crazy batshit world that they are in. All right, next up is Sentenced to Be a Hero. Oh boy, okay. So Sentenced to Be a Hero is a very interesting one. I think also it will go to an A as well. Sentenced to Be a Hero is an interesting one because it started off with a 1-hour special for its premiere episode, and I was blown away. Animation was crazy. You can kind of see where this premise could go. It goes way deeper than how you think. The world and how these heroes get treated by outside interferences is just so interesting to watch, because sometimes you can kind of think of like, oh, somebody may backstab somebody here, or it's an anime with a lot of calculating characters. And to me, personally, as we will see with another anime later, calculating characters is always fun to watch, because sometimes you kind of think that you may know what they're thinking of, or you may think of something else. Xylo, he's a very decent character, although the characters, I will say, in this anime, I mean, you don't really get much exploration other than Xylo and Teorita. Yeah, I guess that is something, but they still are always so calculative in terms of what they may potentially do. I do think that the setting of Sentenced to Be a Hero is just super screwed up. If it goes by anything of what we've seen, especially in the final episode of this series, thank God there's a season 2, by the way, it can kind of go of like, who else could be influenced by a certain something, you know? Don't want to get too much into spoilers, but it really makes for an entertaining anime, despite its characters being, I guess, you know, not really being that much in depth. But still, it's a very solid anime, a very solid watch. Yeah, very gory at some times, but I think that's one of the coolest parts of the anime. The action itself, incredible to watch. Also, one other thing that I don't think people are saying too much about, Sentenced to Be a Hero also does that ReZero thing where they don't really use the OP. They do use it, of course, but they also just roll in the credits. I love it when they do that. The next one up here is Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3, the Culling Game Arc, Part 1. Yeah, man, here we are. We got our first S of the season. I loved this season of JJK. I really did. But I do believe that Season 2 is still slightly better. What I will say is that in terms of the quality and the animation, this is probably the best it's ever looked, which is saying a lot when we're coming out of the Shibuya Incident arc, right? I truly believe that the director of Season 3 of JJK, who I believe is also the director of Season 2, just knocked it out of the park with its direction, its art style, the different kinds of things that is shown off in this anime, the different kinds of powers, which obviously gets very much over-explained if I'm being honest. Because I do think, story-wise, I think Season 2 is overall just better when it comes down to that. But I can't stop raving about the fact of how cinematic this season specifically looked, which is just, it really seriously looked movie quality for some episodes. And then, of course, the final episode, oh my goodness, like, that is going to go down easily as one of the best episodes of this entire year. Easily. JJK just continues to be so good, but of course, one of the best things about JJK is its animation. This is the best it has ever looked. I still prefer Season 2's at least structure in terms of story, season 3, part 1 of Culling Game is still such a great watch. If you haven't started JJK already, what are you doing? All right, next up here, let's start here with Chained Soldier Season 2. Okay, this one, very interesting. Ooh, this one might be a struggle between C and a B. What I will say, though, is that Chained Soldier Season 2 is overall just a big upgrade compared to season 1 because of the studio change. The studio was changed from 7 arcs to Passion A. One of the biggest aspects of this is, there was a whole, potential censorship thing, but then also just the usage of CGI. The CG in this season was overall better. In terms of the story, I mean, it's okay. Like, I don't think I have too many gripes about the story, but you just meet a bunch of whole new characters, and there's a lot of very interesting characters that get introduced here, for very interesting reasons that Yuki is just, he just continues to get devoured by. Anyways, I mean, what? I don't know. It's kind of tough. I don't know if it's a B, actually. I think for me, what I'll say is that while Chained Soldier Season 2 is overall a big upgrade compared to Season 1, I think I'll put it as a high C. It is also potentially a low B, but I'm not ranking any of this. I'm just like listing it off. But yeah, I think Chained Soldier is still a C. This may actually change later. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Next up here is 'Tis Time for Torture Princess Season 2. So I was very surprised that this got a season 2. If anything, I'm very, very glad that it got a season 2 because it continues the formula of how season 1 went. So while season 2 still was a very funny, very fun watch, I don't think it really did much to up its quality. The quality still looked very good. It just, I don't think much really changed. Yeah, you still meet these characters that you've seen in season 1, and you continue to, just like them so much for how wholesome this anime gets, despite its title. Putting it as C is kind of a weird one. But seeing Chained Soldier here is also weird for C as well. This time for Torture Princess, we'll move to a B. Same with Chained Soldier. Yeah, I think I like that, actually, because there are definitely some anime that will hit C here that I don't think is on the same level as Chained Soldier and 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. So there you go. Just an update there. But yeah, 'Tis Time for Torture Princess. It's a wholesome anime despite its style. Just don't get weirded out by the title. It's such a funny anime. It's such a wholesome anime. Watch it for a fun time. Seriously. Next one up here is... Oh, wow. It's funny because I wanted to film this video when I did finish this anime, and it is called Journal with Witch. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our second S of the season. If I may, I personally believe that this is a very huge new anime of the year contender, and I'm being completely honest with you. The thing is with Journal with Witch is I slept on this anime, and I didn't notice until afterwards where a lot of people were saying like, oh my god, this is potentially anime of the year, or pretty much a lot of people were saying this is anime of the season. I personally believe that now. After watching all 13 episodes, I have never been so moved by an anime with so many realistic characters where it really kind of punches you in the gut sometimes with how these characters are acting, how these characters are feeling, how these characters move on from certain things, and how these characters grow from episode 1 to 13. The characterization in this anime is some of the best I've ever seen. And it's kind of almost a shame that a lot of people are not giving this one a chance, or it's just completely going under the radar. Journal with Witch is easily an anime of the year contender. And I was not expecting to say that. With the way that these characters were, with how realistic they were, the growth of these characters, oh my goodness. When I say character development, oh my goodness, you get it so good here. The direction of this anime was so thoughtful. It was so moving to watch these characters just grow from one to another. And then the anime kind of almost reflects of the way that these characters feel as well. I don't know how to explain it. All I know is this is easily one of the most moving anime I've ever seen. It's definitely a favorite in my opinion now. So please go watch Journal with Witch. There may be some times where they talk about a specific thing or they talk about a specific feeling, and you're gonna be like, oh my goodness, that just hit me straight in the heart. Definitely happened a lot with me. You get a story like this in an anime that you don't normally see in a seasonal anime. To me, I just think that the people who have watched this anime easily were just blessed with how thoughtful and how realistic the story was. This is definitely anime that is special, in my opinion. So yes, it is easily going to be an S. Easily. All right, next one up here is the Darwin Incident. Okay, so we just ranked our S for Journal with which is pretty much like potential anime of the season. Darwin Incident, though, was an interesting watch, but this is going to be our first C of the season. I personally think the story of the Darwin Incident is also very, very unique. Something that you, once again, just don't really see in an anime at all. One of my major gripes about this anime is definitely the animation. The story itself was probably the most interesting thing here. It goes to very, very serious lengths in terms of politics, overall feeling of society. You might be wondering, Larlar, oh my goodness, like this sounds like a crazy anime to watch. It really was. I don't think it's a D at all. Kind of wish that we explored a little bit more about specific characters, and it definitely felt a bit slow as well in some areas, but when the action is going, and there's one specific episode in here where my jaw was on the floor. I personally think that Darwin Incident could have easily been a bit better with a better studio. This is one of the more serious shows that you will ever see. I do think there is more potential for how the story can go, but I guess that's what the manga's for. Darwin Incident, though, go into it with some caution, but I personally believe that this is an anime that I would recommend. Also, the plot twists in this anime, oh my goodness, goes crazy, man. All right, the next one up here is Fire Force Season 3. This is the conclusion to Fire Force as a whole. I thought it was a pretty decent end. Yeah, I'll put it at a B here. The animation still was stellar. The audio design was still stellar. I do think there was a bit of some confusing things about it, just some confusing writing aspects about it. However, Shinra, oh my goodness, he's such a great character, man. He's such a great character. I think the way that this anime ended was one of the more interesting endings I've ever seen. But Shinra's the GOAT. That's all I'm gonna say. I thought it was also very cool about how it called back to a specific other anime series that, you know, maybe if you look up in terms of like the potential relation between Fire Force and another specific anime series, you might be like, whoa, what? I have my gripes with the series. You know, I think a lot of people do, but I still think that this is definitely one of the more better endings that you can see in an anime. So I do have to applaud Fire Force for that. And Shinra is just one of the coolest guys. A good end to a decent series that, while I do have gripes about, I think I'm still gonna remember this ending for a bit. Next one up here is Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2. Oh my god, man. Like, do I really have to do this? Do I actually really have to do this? It's going straight to an S. What are we talking about? Like, look at this S. This S row right here is nuts. What a crazy season, man. I love this season so much. But yeah, Frieren Beyond Journey's End Season 2. I mean, it just continues the Frieren formula, despite the fact that it only had 10 episodes. Boo. Frieren just continues its amazing structure here with a more focus on female here a little bit. At the same time, Frieren is just such a special anime series to me, and the adventures of Frieren, Fern, and Stark will just never ever, in my opinion, get boring because these three are so fun to watch, and these three, no matter what they go through, they're always going to find a way out. I think it was also just very cool to see another aspect with other side with some specific characters in here that, as we all know, whenever you see a specific character in here, you may think, oh, we're gonna see them for a bit and then we'll never ever see them again. But yeah, so Frieren is just such a special anime series to me. The animation quality still amazing by Madhouse. This is still just such a special anime. And the things that I've been hearing about the next season, which is the Golden Land arc, which we gotta wait over a year for that one to drop, which is October 2027. But I'm sure that that is going to be worth the wait. Just sucks that we gotta wait that long, but it's gonna be worth the wait, I'm sure. But yeah, Frieren continues to just be so special with its storytelling. Its OST still immaculate. It just continues to be one of the best anime series I've ever seen. Next one up here is Season 3 of Oshi No Ko. I think actually we're about to get our 4th S, and I'm not even joking. Holy moly, I'm looking at the tier list right now, and I'm just like, wow. I know a lot of people are going to talk about the final episode. Rightfully so. But, and I mentioned calculating characters from earlier with Sends to be a hero. This one right here as well. I think to me, season 3 of Oshi No Ko just continues its quality. Yeah, as I mentioned, the animation quality is still so good. The story in this one just feels like, there's something bad that's about to happen. And you kind of just can't tell until when it actually does happen. Also, the revelations in this season, the things that these characters grow from, and all the situations that happen here is just astounding to watch, especially when you compare it from how we first meet them as well. Now, obviously, one of the biggest things about Oshi No Ko is the fact that, well, the manga at some point falls off. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to start with the final season that we got coming up here, but in my opinion, with the way things were going, especially with this season, I did not see a single ounce of it falling off. Maybe that obviously changes with the final season. I have no idea how the manga ends. I have no idea, even though a lot of people have said it's one of the worst ones ever, which is going to be very sad to think about when we get to it. But anyways, yeah, I enjoyed season 3 so much, and it just felt like such an addicting show to watch, because you really don't know what is going to happen sometimes with specific characters in specific situations. Kind of really have to keep an eye on, you know, Ruby there. Oshi No Ko season 3, it just continues to be so good. It's such a great anime, despite I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you know, episode 12 or the 11, whatever, weird. Understand that. But when you take the entire season from it all, it just keeps you on the edge of your seat. And I think that's what makes this anime so entertaining, especially when it kind of dives deep into the social media aspects of present. Next one up here is, oh my goodness. All right. You and I are polar opposites. He got another A. Man, oh man. So You and I Are Polar Opposites was an absolute treat from start to finish. It is one of those anime where if you do not smile during a specific moment, or even if you just don't smile from every single episode, there might be something wrong with you. These characters are so fun to watch, but this is what I'm talking about. This is one of the rom-coms where it's like, you want to focus on the main couple, but you want to also focus on the other side characters. This is, once again, another anime where it does the friend group right. And that is something that I will always consider when it comes down to these typical rom-coms. If the friend group is not as explored as the main couple is, personally for me, I don't want it. I don't think it will be that good. In this one, oh my goodness, you get equal screen time between the main couple and everybody else. And then you see all these relationships start to form. You see all these friendships start to form. It is one of the most heartwarming anime you can see. So please watch it. It's an A easily. Suzuki is an absolute, she is so funny to watch, especially with the way that she's animated. You could tell who the favorite was when this studio was animating it. It was Suzuki 100%. And thank God there's a sequel coming out. Thank God. Because I will 100% take more of this. You and I Are Polar Opposites. It's just one of those anime, those rom-coms, like in the sea of rom-coms, this is a gem. Next one up here is Tune Into the Midnight Heart. This one is gonna go to a C. One of the biggest complaints about Tune Into the Midnight Heart is the fact of the animation. Yeah, I have agree, because there were a lot of shots in here that just did not look natural at all, and it definitely looked unfinished. While that though, it was a very nice anime to watch. It wasn't anything too groundbreaking, if I'm being honest. I do think the MC is kind of hilarious though, with the way he acts. I hope that when it comes down to the second season, I hope it does look better. We can always hope for that. Although this was a fun anime, I didn't really have too many gripes with it, other than, like, you know, it's just another typical harem. But out of all the 4 that is seen here, you can kind of see where they come from and where, you know, their backstories are. And I think that is also very cool, because it makes them to how they are now. And then the MC obviously has to fix whatever situation they're in. Yeah, I thought it was a very decent anime, but it's just, you know, the animation really just took a toll on it, and it's definitely going to dock some points. Although I think this anime is probably going to be a C anyway. Next one up here is In the Clear, Moonlit, Dusk. Now, this one was also airing on, I believe, Sundays with You and I Are Polar Opposites, but Unfortunately, with Moonlit Dusk, I do think it's a step backward. Oh, is it a C? I think it's a C. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I personally like the main couple. I like the main couple. But there are some characters in here, if anything, probably just one character in here that really just was there to be the homewrecker. It's just, there was some questionable writing here with specific character, but the overall romance between Ichimura and Yoi is still very fun to watch, even though sometimes it can get a little too much, in my opinion. But yeah, I still at least enjoyed it. Again, there are just some questionable aspects in terms of writing. It was still a romance with some drama in it. If anything, it wasn't that, like, you know, amazing, but it was still a very decent anime from the start to the end. Now, I completely forgot this. I just had to add this one in here. But I guess I'm just going to count it because the final episodes did air a couple of weeks ago, all at once because apparently of production issues. We got Chitose is in the Ramune bottle. Now, this one is a very interesting one because I think it is kind of like a mix of Oragairu, which is one of my favorite anime series of all time, along with bottom tier Tomozaki. It's like a lesser version of it. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's gonna go down to his. Chitose is an interesting character. I feel like he can be kind of annoying with the way he shows off. I guess, I don't know. But I do think that the characters are at least interesting in terms of their style, because like every single girl here who likes Chitose just has a different personality, and they all come from different clubs and whatnot. There was a big focus with a specific character where I feel like their arc was way too long. I just don't, if you watch the anime, you know what I'm talking about, but I feel like that arc was a little bit overstaying its welcome. The final arc, I feel like, was way better than that. But it only got like 3 episodes. I don't know. There is going to be a part 2 airing this year, so I will most likely tune into that when it comes down to it. And the final anime that we got here is Wash It All Away. And Wash It All Away is going to round out the C. There's not a D here. Wow. Okay. But yeah, so Wash It All Away is going to round out C. It's a very comforting anime. It's a nice start to the week. It's because it airs on Monday mornings. And you know, I wake up, I watch this, and I'm like, oh, wow, this feels very nice. It feels very nice to watch. Not exactly anything too special, but it's a very comfy anime. The main female character is very interesting and funny to watch with the way she just washes clothes. But then you kind of also learn a couple of things when you do wash clothes and what you're not supposed to do with specific clothing items. It was simple, and I like that a lot, but, you know, it's just a very simple slice of life, so I'll just stick a C with it. Well, everybody, that is going to do it for the rank of Winter 2026. Can you believe that? Look at this thing, man. Look at this tier list. This is an unbelievable tier list right here. And I hope people agree with it. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Let me know down in the comments down below, because let me tell you, these S's right here, oh my goodness. If these 4 are so freaking good, but then the A's are so good. Oh my god, man. This season, I will rave about this season for a while. Who knows? Because spring is off and running, and oh man, spring is already giving me a good impression as well. So that's my Winter 2026 anime rank tier list. Do you guys like it? Do you guys like it? I hope you guys do. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. I very much appreciate you guys. Do you guys agree with my tier list? Let me know down in the comments down below. Hit that like button and subscribe, of course. I hope you guys are watching Spring 2026. Make sure you guys check out that video as well. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, and have yourselves a great day. Thank you, guys.